Hey there, House here. Well, last week was the final week of this NFL season, and if you remembered, I decided to pick the winners based off of a coin flip. Last year when I did this, the coin flip went 8 and 8. This year, it went a bit better. It predicted some upsets that I wouldn't have. Last week I went 11 and 5, bringing my overall record to 173, 99 and 1, and my win percentage stays at 63%. Now, we have the NFL postseason to look forward to, and more games means more predictions. First off, we have the Bengals versus the Raiders. Now, both teams have some inexperience in the postseason. The last time the Bengals were in the playoffs, no one on their current roster was on the team. Same thing for the Raiders, except for Derek Carr, who was on the active roster when they last made it. Unfortunately for him, he broke his ankle in the final game of the regular season and was unable to play. The Bengals have a much more explosive offense, but anytime I count out the Raiders, that's when they perform. I'm picking the Raiders. Next game is the Bills versus the Patriots. These are two division rivals that have played some tough games this year so far, with both sides winning once. And we can expect more of the same in this playoff game. The weather could play a factor, similar to how it did back in Week 13, minus the snow. The estimated temperature for the start of the game is 1 degree. That makes for a cold ball, and passing won't be easy. I think the Bills will fare a bit better here than they did back in Week 13. I'm picking the Bills. We have the Bucs versus the Eagles. Now, the Eagles worked their way into a playoff spot. Unfortunately for them, they draw the Bucs in the first round. The Bucs don't have the same offensive weapons that they did a couple of weeks ago, but they have enough to win this game. I'm picking the Bucs. Cowboys versus the 49ers. Now, this one is tough to decide on. I originally thought that the 49ers defense was pretty good, but the 49ers defense isn't as good as they used to be. Their rush defense, at a quick glance, looks strong, but when they face an opponent that actually has a running game, the 49ers don't offer much in the way of resistance. The Cowboys, along with a strong passing attack, have a pretty good rushing game as well. They will have more than enough offense to win this game. I'm picking the Cowboys. Chiefs versus Steelers. The Steelers found a way into the playoffs with some clutch wins in back-to-back weeks, as well as some timely losses from other teams. This gives Big Ben one more game before he calls it a career. Unfortunately, he will be facing this Chiefs team that, when healthy, is tough to beat. They were dealing with a COVID outbreak a couple of weeks ago and a pregame injury that Tyreek Hill suffered in last week's finale. It is uncertain how effective he'll be if he does play, but they have enough without him to win. I'm picking the Chiefs. In the last game for this wildcard weekend, we have the Rams versus the Cardinals. Now, this is another divisional matchup where both teams have split the season series. Also, both teams have been struggling towards the back end of the year. It is uncertain if the Cardinals will have the services of DeAndre Hopkins for this game, which will definitely hurt their chances. The Rams have a few more complementary players that are finding their groove. I'm picking the Rams here. That brings us to our divisional round. And with the games I predicted, that means that the Packers would face up against the Rams. Now, the Packers will be coming off of their first round bye, hopefully a little healthier. They are expected to have the return of two key defensive players that will help their cause for another Super Bowl. The Rams have an offense that can rival the Packers, and their defense is top tier to be sure. The Packers won the regular season matchup against the Rams. I think they'll do the same here. I'm picking the Packers. The other NFC matchup we have would be the Bucs versus the Cowboys. Now, this should be a game that showcases plenty of offense. However, the Bucs don't have enough weapons to match up, and I believe this opportunistic Cowboys defense will cause at least one turnover. I'm picking the Cowboys. We shift over to the AFC as we have the Titans versus the Raiders. Now, the Titans are hoping to have Derrick Henry back around this time for the playoffs, possibly even for this game. If he can make a comeback from his injury, the Raiders don't stand much of a chance. If he doesn't play, well, Tannehill has shown that he can win a game with his arm when necessary. I'm picking the Titans. Last game of the AFC, we have the Chiefs versus the Bills. Now, this is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, and it will be one that many should look forward to. This time around, I'm giving the Bills the advantage. I think it's their time. I'm picking the Bills. We move on to the conference round where I have the Packers playing the Cowboys. Now, this is another NFC game that will showcase plenty of offense. It's also a game where the Packers will have the advantage based solely on the expected freezing climate for this game. It'll be a tough one that could truly go down to the last series for either team. I'm picking the Packers in a close one. For the AFC, we have the Titans versus the Bills. If Henry is available to play at this point, it will give the Titans a huge advantage. The last time the Titans were fully healthy and they played the Bills, they beat them by 3 points. This time around, I'm seeing a little bit of a different outcome, with not entirely sure if Henry will come back, and if he does come back, how effective he'll be. I'm also seeing Josh Allen to come out and play at his highest level to get his team a trip to the Super Bowl. I'm picking the Bills. Now that leaves us with a Super Bowl matchup of the Packers versus the Bills. Now this is the game I can't imagine that most would be disappointed to watch. The Packers have an offense that is near tops in the league and an MVP quarterback. The Bills have a young and talented quarterback with plenty of star caliber players on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I'm picking the Packers and a walk-off into the sunset for Aaron Rodgers. Probably. Well, there you have it. Those are my postseason predictions. Thank you for tuning into the House Report. If there were some selections that you don't agree with, please leave your own picks in the comment section. And for all my betting friends out there, remember, you win some and you lose some, but the house always wins.